Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I really actually don't know what happened. My camera just went blank, so I'm sorry that it's just like a bit of a late start. Oh my gosh, like literally, I was panicking. Good that you guys could not hear me behind the scenes. I was like, oh my god, but we're here now, so this is great. I hope that some of you will be able to find this. So, yes, thank you so much for being here and happy 1st of October to every single one of you. Oh, we are here already. October. Like, I mean, who can believe it is already October? I mean, I can't. Hello, Sleepy. Hello, Bruno. Granny Jules. Hello, Stephen. Yang. Hello. Yes, guys, press the like button. Oh, goodness. Yeah, literally, Bruno, I was actually having a panic attack. I'm like, literally, when, for me, like when technology doesn't work, I'm like panicking because the thing is, this is what happens to you. I don't know correctly how to make it all work. So, yes, this is me. Oh, gosh. Oh, thank you, Granny Jules. That's really cute of you. Thank you. Glendry, Stephen, Kyoto. Hello, guys. Where are you guys from? Like, you guys know that I like to know where you guys are from. I know, Bruno. No, it wasn't. I'm not laughing. I was just literally like, oh my God. Oh, Steve, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased it's helped. We got Newcastle, we got UK in the house, Michelle from Sydney. Hello. We got Candy from Sydney. Guys, good morning, Angie. We got 3 or 4 of you from Australia. Like, I know it is so early over there. We got Koto in Madrid, beautiful part of the world. It's beautiful there. We've got Elizabeth in the UK, all the UK massive in the house. We've got AK Nicole Rocks. Oh, I love that. I love that handle, Nicole. From Philly. From Mexico, Steve's in oh my God, another beautiful part of the world. We've got Tennessee in the house. We've got Smoky Mountain Girl. I love that as well. I love the handles. Guys, you honestly, brilliant. Stephen from Northern Ireland. We've got Canada in the house. We've got Belgium, Pittsburgh, Christina, not Aguilera. That's another handle. I love it. I love We got Christina Aguilera from Pittsburgh. We got Paris. Oh, I love Paris. Really miss it there. I haven't been there since last year, but love it. South Dakota. I'm in the UK. Obviously, like my accent, you can guess. Oh, this is great. Like, hello to every single one of you. So, my friends. Oh, just before I get into it, I just want to say, I hope those of you that are in Florida, I know that there's a hurricane going on, Hurricane Helene. Like, I've been seeing the pictures and things like that that have been out there. So I hope that all of you are okay and keeping yourselves safe. I just, when I see these things like these natural disasters, my heart just does go out to you guys, because it's like you're at the mercy of nature, because honestly, it's another level. So I hope those of you that are in Florida are okay. I'm sending you my love, and I just hope that you'll get through this difficult time. Or if you've got family members that are in Florida, like, I really hope. Yeah, that hurricane. Oh my God. It's just something else. We got Sweepstakes in the house from Boston. Hello, my dear. Thank you for being here. Yes, press the like buttons, my friends. My friends, press them. So my heart does go out to you guys that are in Florida, because I just honestly, like, I've been seeing it on the news. Not that I watch the news, and I've also seen it on TikTok as well. Like, I know that that's not news, but I've seen some of the videos. I had tears in my eyes, because it's another level. It's another level. So, my friends, we are here because we are talking about why we attract narcissists, why they are in our lives, why are they there. But today we're going to unveil the truth, like, behind it. There is a reason, like, obviously, with everything that happens, there is a reason, like, why it happens, like, why they are there. And this is not right, this isn't about you guys thinking, oh, like, oh, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done. This is not what this live stream about. This is to empower you, to get you to understand that actually, you know what, it's okay. Like, when you know what is going on and why these people are in your lives, then you can adapt things, put boundaries in place and realize the game behind all of this interaction, because that's what it is. It's a mind game, okay? And what they are trying to do is extract your attention, your love, your kindness, and they just take you for granted. Basically, they take you for granted. They are aware of what they are doing, but you know what it is? It's like they don't have that self-awareness, or do they really understand empathy? Like, how do they put themselves, you know, in your shoes, like to try and understand it? They don't think like that. And that's what you have to understand, is that these people just do not think like that. So when you understand, all right, the kind of psychological, emotional discrepancies that we are talking about here, then then you will be able to click it and think, oh, okay, it's not personal to me. It's just that they do this. That's just who they are. And that's when you get to decide whether you want to keep this person in your life, or how you want to adapt, you know, how much time, energy, you know, like how much of this person you have in your life. And that's what I want to say to this. This is more about, you know, it's your decision. Ultimately, it's your decision, because I can't tell you what to do. You know, it's up to you guys. And that's what we're going to look at today, is why they are there, what has been going on. Remember, this is all generalization. So, you know, it doesn't mean that this is exactly you. This is what is happening. It could be, but this is inviting you to look at this from an open mind, look at this from a different angle, and just see that maybe if you just adapt a few things, yeah, you'll be able to handle them, or just say goodbye, my friend. So we have some more people on here. Hello, Dal Singh. Oh, Granny Jules. Yeah, do you know what, my friend? We all learn the hard way. And this is why I want to do these lives, so that all together, like, know that you are not on your own. Okay. You guys are not on your own. All right. We're here. We're together. We're going to learn, and we're going to move forward from this. Okay. Remember, it's all about mindset and perspective Bruno says, the moment you say no, watch people change. Love it. They do. Don't they? They do. They do. They just change, because it's not what they want. It's not what they want. And we got Maria in the house. Hello, my friend. Hello. I'm so glad that you are here. We got Steve O.M. Hello. And we've got Bob. You made it this week. You made it. Not that it was a problem that you didn't make it last, but you're here, which is amazing. Alexander says certain personality types are more susceptible to them. For example, the INFJ. Yes. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about that as well. Yes, you are absolutely right. We've got Alina from Romania. Hello. We've got Sam. We've got Finding. Dory. Oh, I love that. Do you know what? I've got to say before we get into it, you know, like I said this before, like your handles are amazing. And I honestly, you know, like when I'm answering the comments sometimes onto the videos of the posts, you lot kill me with your comments. I'm just going to say to you, I actually laugh. I laugh so hard sometimes. The things that some of you come out with, it's just so funny. Obviously, like I can't put it on there that I'm laughing, but yeah, you guys are hilarious. Your sense of humor. Do you know what, you guys, I do. Honestly, you guys are amazing. And thank you for being here. Honestly, thank you for being here in the community. And I love connecting with you. You know, like when I read the comments under the videos or the posts, I love chatting to you. And do you know what? I was sitting here yesterday, actually, I was sitting on the sofa, and I was like, you know, like replying to some of your messages after, you know, the video had gone out. And do you know what I was thinking? Like, I'm talking to like people around the world. Like, it honestly, it blows my mind. And the fact that you guys are here as well, I still don't get used to it. It's like, you know, like it's on your phone. So it's kind of like, it's personal, you know, it's personal. That's what I'm trying to say. Right. I'm going to stop babbling and we're going to get into the stream. Right. So today, the topics that we're going to be covering is what makes narcissists attractive to us. I wish it didn't, but it does. It's fine. We're going to talk about the psychological dynamics of toxic relationships so that we have a better understanding, like literally, of what's going on. We're going to talk about the traits that narcissists seek in their partners and people who they want to basically, I don't know, like get and trap into their spell. Not that it's a spell, but you know what I mean, like trap into their world, because it's a trap. It ultimately is a trap. And then we're going to talk about How to break the cycle and avoid future toxic bonds. So this is about understanding how we get caught up in this, but how we can adapt our behaviors. Yes. The love bombing. I know. I know. The love bombing and the empathy are just, yeah, it's our energy. It's ultimately our life force that they love. That's what it is. But there's certain things in our behavior that they actually like. So the psychology behind attraction to narcissists, right? Okay. So think back to the beginning of your relationship with this person. Okay. We were attracted to them. Like, I mean, like, I know we don't want to say or we don't want to admit it, but like we were attracted to them. And what attracted us to them, okay, was their charm, was their confidence. Maybe they were alpha female, maybe they were alpha male. And maybe it's those parts of those personality traits that attract us to them. Maybe it's the charisma. So not, like narcissists have this alluring attention. Attention about them. They have this alluring energy that we love, that we, in a way we get sidetracked, don't we? And we think, yeah, this person. And it feels also like, for some of us, it could feel like we have known this person for such a long time. It might feel that, we have known them for a while, and it feels good. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading the comments. Yeah, it's like Coyote says, fake empathy. I thought he was another me. That's the thing. Cognitive empathy. I know that I have done videos on this. I know I've done like some live streams on that as well. So these are the traits. This is the psychology. These are the traits. And right, what you have to remember is that all of this, okay, they don't, when you're doing something like this is all surface level charm. All right. They don't care how it's going to make you feel, but as long as it draws you into them, that's all they care about. So they're going to tell you whatever it is that you want to hear, because you know why? It makes you want them. It makes you hooked. And for them, it's not the same thing. Although it might seem that they are so into you, they're giving you loads of time, loads of attention, and you're like feeling, yeah, this is so good. This feeling so good. And you see, that's why they do it, because they're trying to lure you in. They're trying to hook you in. That's ultimately what they're doing. And then let's not forget the whole love bombing phase as well. That, I think, is so manipulative, okay? That you draw someone in. You don't mean anything that you do, anything that you say, anything that's going on. You just draw that person in and you tell them what they want to hear. And you know the thing is, that person, i.e., you, me, and you, yeah, we're going to believe that person. We're going to think, oh my God, that person's into me. They really actually like me. That is an abuse. That's an emotional abuse, because you're believing something that isn't real, something that this person does not feel. Okay, so to do that to another person, well, I've always said this. I know I've always said this, but to actually manipulate someone is actually very easy. In that, I mean, to get someone to believe in what you are saying, someone to believe in you. Okay, think about it. This is how they do it. First of all, what you got to do is you've got to understand that person's wants and needs. So that's why, right at the beginning, they watch you, they study your body language, your facial expressions. All right. And they watch you, they study you. So then when they ask you those particular questions, okay, that's how they're going to know what your wants, your needs, your desires are. So once they have got that piece of information, they then turn it around. This is why they can love bomb you, because they've got that information. When somebody watches you, or it's like someone else, like, for example, when you watch someone, you study someone. No, that I'm not saying that you do what the narcissist does, but when you do that, like, you can get a sense of that person, like you guys get a sense of me. You've never met me in person. I know some of you have in the chat. but like the most of you, never met me in person, but yet you have a sense of who I am. sense of me. Does that make sense? So you get to know, or you get to kind of form like an impression of that person, like you guys have formed an impression of me, right? The narcissist does the same thing. So when this is what they do. So when they start talking to you, when they start getting that information, watching your facial expressions, your body language, that's when they know. That's when they know what it is that you want. So that's why love bombing, the mirroring, all of that becomes easy when you know. So this is how you manipulate someone. This is what I'm saying. And that person, the victim who they're doing this to, it's almost like you start to trust them, you let your guard down, and then you become open, you become vulnerable, you become soft, you think that, oh, this person's got my best interest, because number one, they're very similar to you, so they pretend to be into the same things that you are, and they tell you what you want to hear. So this is where you let your guard down and you think, oh, you know what, this person's just like me, this is so cool, you know. It is. That's right, Rachel. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. This is why I always say to you guys, take your time. When you're getting to know someone new, like when you're moving forward and you want to, move forward with another person, take your time. Even with friends, even with whoever's out there, just take your time. You will know. Everybody reveals themselves with time. So this is what I'm saying to you. This is very important that you do that. The love bombing phase, and what it does do is it creates an emotional bond. Because again, when you know this person, when you think you know this person, you let your guard down. So the narcissist allows for this strong emotional bond to form. What also happens is this is the beginnings of a trauma bond. Yeah, I know. The role of the trauma bond and the past experiences. So when they are doing this, it's causing an emotional fusion, okay? And it's where it becomes toxic is because this is going to do a 360. We know this. We know what's going to happen, okay? At the time, we didn't. So we know that this is going to turn 360 and it's going to become really bad. It's going to become absolutely awful. And what happens at this point is you are beginning to feel emotionally safe with this person. This is where the abuse bit comes in, right? You become soft, you become open, you become vulnerable. You also start to become emotionally safe with this person. And what happens, that's all you ever wanted, right? That's all that everybody has ever wanted, is to feel emotionally safe with another. And what comes into play here is unresolved childhood trauma or past abusive relationships, okay, which can influence you to unconsciously attract narcissists. And I know that's hard-hitting truth, but it can do that because you are placing your needs, your wants, your desires of being accepted, of feeling emotionally safe in another person. The narcissist takes advantage of this. All right. And that's how when you don't understand that this is happening, unconsciously, this is where they trip you up. Okay, this is why I'm always saying to you guys, learn to know yourself. Okay, learn to connect to yourself. All right, because when you know yourself, you know your triggers, and then you can adapt your responses, your behavior to someone who is trying to get a rise out of you. That is what is important here. Okay, and also, another thing, okay, because we're unconsciously attracting narcissists, all right, there's something that I really wanted to mention here. And I don't know whether you have heard of this. This is called the repetition compulsion theory. Okay. And this is how people often repeat patterns from early relationships. Okay. So remember, I always say this, it's really important that we understand this. Okay. I'm sorry, Vicky, that you're going through this. I know this is not easy at all. I know. So what happens with repetition compulsion? Basically, this is a psychological concept introduced by my one and only favorite, Sigmund Freud. Yes, I am a fan of his. I am a fan of his work. And what this does is This basically refers to unconscious drive to repeat past experiences, often which are traumatic and unresolved ones. It's an attempt to gain, to resolve them or to gain kind of control over them. And what we tend to do is we tend to repeat this in other relationships. So, for example, maybe we have some unresolved trauma either with our mother or our father. So, depending on which one it is, when we get into relationships, to adult relationships, what we're trying to do is resolve that, we're trying to resolve that with that person. I've got to say also that the narcissist will do this as well, okay? But it's done on a different level. Narcissism is more of a pathological level, whereas what we are doing is we're trying to resolve that difficult relationship that we have had with our caregiver or our parents in our adult relationships. And so sometimes what happens is when we do have this unconscious drive to repeat past traumatic experiences, remember, our environment may have been traumatic, may have been horrible, may have been nasty, horrible. Maybe our father was nasty to us or a little bit harsh, or maybe our mother was like that to us. So when that narcissist, when that toxic person comes into our life, okay, what happens is we then tend to see or view or see this behavior as familiar. So we then tend to um, we don't then tend to think that, oh, it's familiar, so this is what we do, or it's something that feels good, something that we're used to. And that's why we subconsciously draw these people to us. If you think about it, a narcissist is withdrawn. They don't have that emotion. Maybe one or both of our parents were emotionally unavailable. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes. All right. So that's why then we subconsciously draw these people to us. And unfortunately, I know can be a bit hard hitting, and I know it's not easy to hear, but sometimes this could actually be the case of why this person has found themselves in your life. Okay. And in this context, people find themselves drawn to situations or relationships that mirror painful patterns from the past. This is what I was saying. And these situations are harmful because this is a repetition. If you don't understand it, or if you don't see it for what it is, then you are more likely to repeat these patterns. Now, you don't have to put it in the chat, but this is just something for you to think about, okay? Think about it. How was your relationship with your parent or your parents or your caregiver? What was that like? Okay. And this is where we have to look at or uncover our unconscious processes. Otherwise, we are going to reenact past trauma. Okay, that's what happens is when you're not aware of repeating these harmful behaviors or choosing similar types of relationships that you call into your life, what happens is this then becomes a deep-seated psychological pattern because then you're used to doing it. This is what you do. It happens over and over. We repeat cycles. Okay, if we are unaware, we do tend to repeat cycles. You know, maybe the love that you are wanting from your parent or your caregiver was inconsistent. Okay. You were seeking their approval and they never gave it. So you had to work harder, you had to give more. Okay, think about it. This then produces or is the recipe for a people pleaser, someone who is going to be codependent. You're going to be dependent on somebody else's approval of you. Okay. And then when someone says to you, oh, you don't actually need to do that. You don't need someone else to give you that approval. That's going to sound a very weird thing to you because you're going to be seeking that because you want it, because that's how you've grown up. Okay, so you're going to also seek out people, maybe friends, partners, most definitely friends and partners, people that you hang around with. You're going to seek out people who are similar, they're inconsistent, and who are emotionally unavailable. Basically, this is subconscious and this is an attempt to fix the original pain. All right. That's why. And if you think about it, look at the people around you. This is what I said to you always. It's very important the company that you keep, the people that are around you, people who are there to celebrate you, people who love you for who you are. And if that is the case, if they're not there, if those people are not there and they don't love you for who you are and they don't lift you up, okay, then there is an issue here. Okay. That's the repeating pattern. Similar, like if you think about it, if this wasn't your first narcissistic relationship, or whether you feel that there were more, okay, in your life, have a look at that. Think about it. What are those deep rooted um triggers or pains or core wounds that you're trying to resolve? Think about it and have a think about and have a look. What are these patterns? What is it? Can you see a theme? This is also very important, like when you're trying to work out what your triggers are and what it is that perhaps maybe that needs to be fixed from deep rooted core wounds. Thank you, Midnight Blue. That's okay. Don't worry, my dear. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying hi. Um, My goodness, my throat is a bit, I don't know. I hope I'm not coming down with something. Talking of which, Yang is unwell today as well. So we're sending you lots of love and hope you get well. Hope you feel better, Yang. Oh, this is chamomile tea. Do you guys like my pumpkin mug? Okay. So what happens is we then get into a cycle of reliving rather than resolving. Okay. And because when we are unconscious, how can we resolve something that we don't know, or we don't know that we are conscious of? You can't, because you're not aware of it. So how are you going to resolve something that you don't know is there? That's why I'm saying connect yourselves, connect yourselves. Always connect yourselves. This is what is so important. Always check in with yourselves. So rather than resolving the trauma, you end up stuck in a cycle of repeating these painful behaviors, these painful relationships, and you're re-experiencing the hurt and the frustration of the past. And then coincidentally, as this is happening, right? As this is happening, this is then deepening that belief that you are not good enough. That why should someone love you? Why should someone care for you? All right. Thank you, Midnight Blue. Thank you. Thank you, Vicky. Um, yeah. So you're re-experiencing the hurt and the frustration of the past. And in this context of relationships with narcissists and maybe other manipulative or toxic individuals, someone who has experienced emotional neglect, you're one of your parents not being there emotionally. There may have been something that was abusive in childhood. You're going to constantly seek out these similar dynamics, okay, because you're going to be looking for that validation. So if you understand it, if you see it for what it is, and you know that you do this subconsciously, you maybe you might feel that you do, it's worth taking a look at, because otherwise this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to invite these people into your life. None of us want another narcissist in our life. So then we cannot be trapped in this toxic cycle. And you are able to break it, but if you're not addressing the root causes, then this is the repetition compulsion. Okay, we are always attracted to what is familiar to us. But if we understand and we're seeing that what is familiar is actually killing us, is actually abusing us, then we need to do something about it. And ultimately, that's what this is about. Okay. So this is how we seek out these types of people. Okay. Because you know what it is we become accepting. That's what it is. We become accepting of that behavior. And as harsh as it may sound, and I know it's probably really harsh what I'm saying, but if we're not conscious of it, then we're just going to be doormats. We're just going to accept that behavior, someone to do what they're doing. And it's like, there's no consequences. It's fine. It's fine for you to do that. No, no, it's not okay. It's not fine to do that. We then think that that's how healthy relationships are, or that's how relationships should be. And no, it's not. You shouldn't be treated like this. This is why narcissists or these types of people are called toxic. There's a reason for it. Toxic is poison. Poison kills you. Okay? That's what you have to that's how what you have to do. You have to see it for what it actually is, okay? So this is a psychological process that a lot of people do actually go through, the repetition compulsion. So now, okay, so now that's how we seek them. Let's have a look at how narcissists actually choose their targets. Tiagra, I love that question. Do narcissists sleep? That's a really good question. Um, you know what? In my experience, and I don't know if this is for everyone. Like, guys, if this is for you, if this is for you, all right. If you think the same thing, do narcissists sleep? I don't. No, I don't think they do. They don't actually have good sleep. I don't know. Has that been everyone else's experience? You know, I find that they are so riddled with anxiety or depression. They don't show you, but I really feel like their mind is like literally ticking over. So I don't think that they actually get to sleep. I love that, Yang. They sleep when they get what they want. Yes. Sleep apnea. Yes, Granny George. Yeah, that's it. Do Elizabeth, has that been your experience that they sleep really well? Yeah, I find that they don't. But that's a good one. Yeah, they sleep only when they get what they want. Yeah. Oh, you saw him sleep. Oh, so it's okay, so it's 50-50. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah. Michaela says or medication. Yeah. So yours passed out, meow. That's your handles, guys. I love them. I love them. Um, all night she was on social media. Yeah, Vicky, like I bet she was just like scrolling through stuff because she just, yeah, just to keep her mind occupied. Re- Tigris says, really, my ex seems to, anyways, he's awake and he's a narcissist. Yeah. My experience of them, they don't sleep. That's just me. I just think that they don't sleep. I think their mind is just doing overtime. Yeah, looking through social media. Yeah, for a 99. That's what yeah, that's what I found as well. Who's always on Facebook, Tigra says. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sneak drinker and pot smoker when he got home, then sleep meds. Oh my god, meow. Yeah, he or she took all of that just to knock them out. Gosh. Thank you, sweepstakes. Yes, smash that like button. Thank you guys for being here and for watching. Granny Jules, I ate biscuits through the night. Comfort eating. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay, so let's look at how narcissists choose their victims. Okay. Let's look at that. So thank you all of you for putting your comments, your experiences in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so narcissists, oh gosh, as we all know, they need control and validation. Um, I always say this, but I just, when I say that, like I think to myself, why would someone need to control? Why would why does someone need so much validation? Okay. And this is the main part of them. Okay. This is the main part of them. They are drawn to people who are empathetic, who are compassionate, who are patient, and sometimes even emotionally vulnerable individuals. Now, I'm not saying that every single one of you here is emotionally vulnerable. I'm not saying that any of you are emotionally vulnerable, but they look at certain traits of people. They look at people who are perhaps maybe people pleasing. They have tendencies of that, because they want to make that other person happy, or maybe someone who doubts themselves, maybe someone who doesn't have a lot of confidence in themselves. So it's ultimately someone who they are going to be able to control. They'd have to put minimal effort in, and someone who they're going to be able to control. And that's ultimately what they're looking for, is someone who's nice, someone who is not going to challenge them, okay? Someone who's not going to call them out on their behavior, someone who's just agreeable, someone who's just nice, who's kind, who's just going to be like, yeah, do you know what? I got your back. I'm fine. I'm not going to be arguing with you. Good night, Yang. Take care. Hope you feel better. Um, yeah, that's what they're going to be looking for, is that. So these are the kind of traits, these are the kind of tendencies that they want from someone who's going to be agreeable. And this is what attracts narcissists. Because again, the narcissist is getting validated. The narcissist is feeling good. Okay. But what they don't have to do is they don't have to give that back to you. So they know that when you're compassionate, when you're empathetic, you're not going to be so demanding as to want that treatment or that behavior or that reciprocation back. You're going to be like, oh, it's okay. You know what? Like it's okay. I'm fine. It's all right. Because people, you remember when we were talking about the way that, for example, we had experienced our childhood. Okay, this is sometimes that experience can cause people pleasing tendencies. You want to make the other person happy. You want the other person to feel good. You don't want to challenge them. You don't want to be bad and horrible to them. Okay, so when we have got people pleasing tendencies, all right, we're rather empathetic, we're understanding, we're really patient. So a narcissist is going to exploit that. They're not going to be looking whether that affects you, how that hurts you, how that upsets you. They're not going to be looking at that. They're not going to be caring about that. As long as you are giving them exactly what it is that they need, they don't care. They don't care. So what happens is they establish dominance and then they manipulate. So what happens just as right at the beginning, okay, all of this love bombing, all of this like, oh, I love you, you're so nice, like, I love you, you're so amazing, all of this at the beginning, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. But actually, probably that's true, they do. Not just you, there's going to be others that are going to dip in and out of your life. But what I'm saying is that they cause all of this, they cause you to become hooked, and you feel like, yeah, great, this is a lovely relationship, this is exactly what I wanted. And we then relax, we let our guard down, and that's when they've hooked us. Because they know that we are not going to keep asking them, or we're going to be really compassionate, we're going to be very understanding, and that's when they tend to gaslight. That's when they tend to start the manipulation, and this is where the trauma bond. All right, we're always, and this is the thing with the trauma bond and when these relationships end, because we're always remembering, all right, what the narcissist was like when we first met them. And this is the thing, like, first impressions is a bugger of a thing, because we remember how the narcissist was, that they were so kind, they were so lovely to us, they made us feel good. We always went out, we did things, they showed us off to their friends. Like, life was good, life was like euphoric, it was amazing. And then, even like, look, even in family situations, there's always this up and down, up and down. There can be times where you feel so connected to your family members. All right. And you feel like, oh, they're actually really nice people. Like, I don't actually think they're horrible. Maybe I've made this up in my head. And this is where it causes you to doubt your own reality, because they're not just this one consistent person. They are like two or three different people. They're not like this consistent, they don't have this consistent personality. So they chop and change depending on how they're feeling or what's going on for them, right? So this is where we then learn that we walk on eggshells, or we learn to have this role reversal in these relationships, or that things are not how they seem. Things are always chopping and changing, and this is where we feel that it's quite hard to trust people with our emotions. So the narcissist will gaslight you, they'll guilt trip you, they will emotionally invalidate you. And this is the toxic cycle. The value, devalue, discard. And in family settings, it's the value, then they devalue you, then they value, then they devalue you. So you're constantly, okay, you feel safe with this person because they're family members. We should, And this always trips us up. This always trips us up. And this is where it becomes so confusing for us. This is where we go into self-doubt. This is where we don't feel confident. We don't trust ourselves. And that's why I always say the antidote to this, my friends, is for you to actually connect to you, to begin to understand you, to begin to learn what it is that you want, because you didn't get this wrong. You did not get this wrong. This was conditioned out of you, meaning that you were always taught to doubt yourself. You were taught that whatever you thought, whatever you were doing, it was wrong. And that person, that narcissist, okay, that toxic person, that they were right always. And that's where the issue is that you've got to learn to trust yourself, to love yourself, to really listen to you. This is how you are going to break that. This is where you strengthen yourself. You are not going to be triggered by things that you once were before. This is where it is important for you to build up that resilience, that mental strength. This is where you get clarity. You start believing in yourself, okay? And these are the tactics, okay, that trap people or trap me and you in these toxic cycles. And that's what they are, is because when we don't realize our own value, our own worth, then we are going to be stuck repeating these same cycles of behaviors and same patterns. You know what? I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think attracts narcissists to certain people? What do you think attracts narcissists to certain people? What is it? Have you found that maybe it was something different that maybe I haven't mentioned? No, Isabel, they don't always discard. That's very true. They don't. They do devalue, they value, but they don't always discard. This is very true. They do come back. Tigra says, yes, please. I don't want to be the chosen goose anymore. I want to be the duck. Lol. Yeah, true, true, true. Granny Jules says, mine always discarded and blamed my family for our breakups. Of course they did. Of course, of course, of course they do. Yes. Bruno says, head operations is also something I noticed could trigger narcissism. Yes. It's all to do. Have any of you heard about the psychological phenomenon about Phileas Cage? I think it happened like in 1800s or something, and we learned about this quite early on in our psychology training about Phileas Cage. Does everyone know about this story about him? He was a worker. He was laying down train tracks, and I think there was like something, there was a bomb or something had blown up, or it was in a mine or something like that, and a piece of like metal steel had gone through the forehead of Phileas. Bless him, and he still survived. He didn't die. But what they found is over time, his personality had changed because this metal rod had gone through the frontal lobe, which is located here behind your forehead. And that is where, in the frontal lobe, that's where all of our executive functioning happens. So that's more kind of complex functions of our brain that basically happens. And when that is disturbed, there causes discrepancies in neural pathways, neural networks, and the way that they work, the way that they are. So his personality changed. Literally, he was a completely different person. And that's the thing. That's the thing. So head operations could be a thing. Yes. Isabel says, yes, once you know their playbook, it's game over. It's true. It's true. Once you work them out, that's it. That's it. Oh, that's so lovely. Mirror says, so wonderful to be amongst people who are never ever narcissistic. Oh, bless you. You are safe here. So yeah. Lucia says energy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a huge one. You are right, Lucia. I completely agree with you. It's our energy that attracts these people to us. Yeah, for sure. Fortunately, that's very true. Yes. Stephen says, being available to their needs and wants, constant attention. Yeah, that's another one, that constant attention that keeps coming up. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Um, Michaela says, I'm sending out low vibration energy. Do you know what, Michaela? I don't think you are low vibrational. So I don't think you're gonna be able to do that. You're not toxic. So you're not going to be able to send out low vibration. I'm sorry, my friend. This is all about boundaries, Michaela. All about boundaries. David said, oh, hello, David Campbell. Ian says, I've tested positive for lupus, which was told a narcissist abusive partner can cause. Really? Lupus? Ian, I'm sorry that that's the case. A narciss- I don't know about this. I didn't know that this was the case. I'm going to read up about this because I wasn't sure. But yeah, I'm so sorry, Ian, that has happened to you, my friend. I'm so sorry. I hope that you're looking after yourself and you're taking precautions and care. Sending you love. Isabel says your empathy and kindness makes them feel you're easy to manipulate. Yes, yes, yes. Because they see that as weakness. When you're kind, when you're lovely, they will see this as a weakness. So they're going to exploit you. They are so going to exploit you for this. I know it's do you know what? Our emotions, our kindness, and our empathy, that's our superpower. That isn't a weakness. That's our superpower. So they've got it all wrong. See, it's because they exploit it, and we need to protect ourselves more. I'm going to talk about this in this live stream a little bit later. That yeah, we talking about boundaries and how we can protect ourselves. Jerry says, I noticed when I was looking for women, it was usually the ones who made eye contact from across the room. Like a magnet, I'd be drawn to them, not just anyone then. Yeah, bless you. Yes, Jerry. There's something in the eyes. I'm not going to, do you know what? I could do a whole live stream about narcissists and their eyes, that darkness. I'm going to leave it there because honestly, I'm going to start getting off on a different tangent here, like I do. Um, Yes, that's a really good point, Isabel. They're also attached or attracted to successful people who improve their image. They're all about image, clout chasers. I love that. You're so right, Isabel. It's true. It's true. They're not going to have just any old person. They really love it when someone is successful, someone is strong. They love that because that is for them. That's resources for them. You're absolutely right. They will look for people specifically that are like that. That is very true. Yeah, it's all about their image, isn't it? Uh, Leslie says, Anushka, my son had 3 concussions in the military and is completely different person. Oh, I'm sorry, Leslie. From introvert to bold, obnoxious person and extrovert. I'm sorry. It does. There's head trauma. I worked quite closely with brain injury, and I worked with dementia. So I worked with neurological disorders. Um, yeah, a few years back, and I noticed this to be true. When there is disturbances in the way that our brain um, functions, it could be shock, it could be trauma, it could be an injury that causes these disturbances in the way that we usually would function. And unfortunately, there is no cure for it. You can't really reverse those changes. It's basically where there's I've I believe it's where neural pathways have been severed and there's been a trauma to the brain. So there's been like shock. There's been disturbances to the way that the brain actually functions, and sometimes it can't regulate itself, and this is the consequences of it. So I'm so sorry that has been the situation for you, Leslie. I really am. Bless you. I love that finding Dory. Yes, they no longer can see my kindness as weakness. Good. That's what you got to do. You got to protect yourself. You've so got to protect yourselves. Okay. So in this next part, I really wanted to look at if those of you that are actually in toxic bonds or in a trauma bond. I forgot the word for a second then. In a trauma bond. Okay. I know that a lot of us have experienced this, and it's so difficult to leave someone who is toxic. because when you have got a trauma bond, you don't understand it. You don't even know what it is. All you can do is think about this person, crave this person, and it almost feels so unnatural, but it almost feels so upsetting that you can't forget this person. And that's what it is. That's what we have to understand, is that this is a bond that is caused by trauma. It causes you to become stuck to this person, reliant on them, wanting their validation, and it's only them. And in your mind, you think, if only I could just speak to them just one more time, tell them what I'm going through, because I know that if I speak to them, it's going to make me feel better and I'm going to feel good. And we've all been in the grasps of this. Some of us, it lasts for a really long time. But what we have to understand is why and where it comes from. What is it that causes this? Okay. It has this psychological grip on us. I feel like a lot of it, like with the trauma bond, because it's so like they're so nice to you, they're so kind to you, and then they're so nasty. This is all about intermittent reinforcement, the highs and lows. And this is a real thing, my friends. It's a real thing in psychology, because this was the first, when I was studying my psychology, and this was my, oh my God, it was before the master's. Oh, what was it called? My diploma, my applied psychology diploma. And this is the first thing that we learned about, is about intermittent reinforcement. So, and this is really cruel because we don't realize that it's happening. And I invite you to look at this in other areas of your life if this is happening, because it doesn't just happen, say, in relationships. It could be in other situations, maybe at work. All right. And this is really cool because we don't know that this is happening. So what happens is basically somebody is doctoring your behavior to their own gains, basically doctoring the way that you behave, doctoring the way that you think. Okay. And the way that they do that is you've got to give, it works on the pleasure pain principle. So if we think about it, right? Narcissists, they value you, they love bomb you, they shower you with all this attention. That's the pleasure. So we experience the pleasure at this point, and we're like, oh my God, this feels amazing. Because it does, it feels euphoric. But it's almost unnatural because nobody naturally does that. Like, nobody does that. Unless you really like this person, you really mean it from the heart. Okay. But then comes the pain principle. So that's where the narcissist then removes all of their attention, all of their love. Not that they're, I take that back. I can't really call it love. What can I call it? Okay, let's just call it attention and validation. They remove all of this. And in some cases, they all right. It's the push and pull dynamic and the take. So what's happening is you are being reinforced that behavior. Think about it, how manipulative it is. They will reward you when you do what they want you to do. That's what they're doing. So they'll reward you when you are compliant and you are doing what they want. All right. When you are disobeying them and you are not doing what it is that they want, they then punish you. So that punishment will look like belittling. Yeah, they're shouting at you. They're lying to you. They put you down. There's verbal abuse. Maybe even in some cases, the silent treatment. They might remove sex from you, intimacy, communication. Again, these are all manipulation tactics because you do what I want. So please, when people say to me, oh, narcissists don't know, they're not really aware. They are aware. They're aware of what they're doing. Because in order for you to achieve that, in order for you to doctor somebody else's behavior into the way that you want it to be done, you have to have a level of awareness here. You have to know what's going on. Okay, because there's no way that you are going to be doing this just from inexperience. They know. So, and remember, these are all childhood patterns. So they're repeating childhood patterns. So this means that their parents or their caregivers would have done this to them. Sorry. Sleepy, yeah. Like yes, given lots of treats, like with pets. When you are trying to teach them something, you're giving them treats. That's the pleasure. And the pain is when you don't give them the treats, or when you're telling them off. And it's the same principle. This is all about intermittent reinforcement. And it's a psychological principle that is used throughout time. And it works. It really works. Has any of you heard of, for example, another famous or a very well known experiment, Pavlov's dogs? I forgot Pavlov's first name. I think he was either Russian or Austrian, and he had a few dogs. And what he was doing is he was trying to train his dogs with a stimulus. So that was with a bell. So every time he trained them so that every time the bell rang, the dogs would respond to this stimulus. So they knew that when the bell rang, that there would be a treat. Okay. But he also taught them to do certain things. It's the same like when you've got a pet, you've got a dog, or you have a pet, not to, for example, wee inside or pee inside. You teach them to go outside. So it's the same thing. So the narcissist will teach you that you are going to get rewarded if you listen to them, if you do what they want you to do. So then what happens is this creates this bond of trauma, because you have to be traumatized. Okay, the intermittent reinforcement, you are traumatized into behaving a certain way. That's why you are then bonded onto that person. Look, for example, another word for a trauma bond is the Stockholm syndrome. We all know what happened when in Stockholm, in that bank, when the robbers came to steal the money. The victims that were in the bank at the time, they then felt sorry for the robbers that were stealing all of this money and were shooting at them, and they were inducing fear into those people. They then started to protect them and feel sorry for them. So can you see how our empathy, how our kindness, how our understanding, how our compassion works? It's almost as though when you start to love the narcissist, when you start to be kind to them, you then lower your guard, and what happens is you tend not to see their bad behaviors. You tend not to see what they are doing. Okay. Yes, hot and cold behavior. You're right, Isabel. That's exactly what happens. So you know, you then start to get used to these highs and lows, because you are being manipulated. You are being reinforced this certain behavior, these certain beliefs. That's why a lot of us, when we leave these relationships, we think, oh, this is we feel like we don't even feel ourselves. We feel a shell of our former selves, of who we were. Yeah, that's why it is important that we realize that this trauma bond is what keeps us stuck to this person. And that's why they do it. Think about it. Who would want to change your behavior? Who wants to change you? If you love someone, you love them for who they are, not for what you can change in them. But a narcissist wants to change you to be compliant, for you to give them what it is that they want. Yeah? That's why they do this. These are the highs and lows of the relationship. Guys, there's 100 of you here and only 57 likes. So guys, if you are here and you're enjoying the live so far, because I think we're halfway through so far, or just a little bit over halfway, please do give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it, because you know what? This helps with the algorithm. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. This helps with the algorithm to get this out there. I know that not all of you are in the chat, and that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to be. I'm just grateful for all of you being here. So thank you so, so much. So please do smash the like button. We don't have Yang to say that. He's not well. Okay. So Now we know what the real psychology behind the trauma bond is. Let's talk about steps of trying to break that cycle. Yeah. Let's try and break this cycle. So, how do we know? How do we know when we are with someone and they are trying to form a trauma bond with us? All right. So, this is about identifying these certain signs early on, right? So, the first thing is, okay, the first thing is when you get into a relationship with someone, they are telling you what to do, or they're telling you all these kind things like how amazing you are, how much in love they are with you, how much they want you. Okay, similar like if we are in a family setting, they will be telling you how proud they are of you, how happy they are, like how you are just so wonderful. Okay, and then what happens is this is all done so much, too much in such a short space of time that you become overwhelmed. You, you become overwhelmed with all of this because it's almost like it's suffocating. Think about it when you're like in a relationship right at the beginning, and someone's going, "Oh my god, I think I'm in love with you," or "I cannot see my life without you." Now I'd be like, "I'm running for the hills." I'm sure a lot of you would be, but before I would have been like, "Oh, that sounds so lovely. That's so nice." However, this is where we didn't do the work before, and so we needed that validation from someone else. We needed that outward validation. So that when the relationship develops quickly, okay, that's another thing, because you're caught up in this whirlwind of this euphoric feeling, and then you are dropped. Okay, that's what it is when you are dropped, and then you're thinking, oh, where did this person go? Like, what's happened here? So this is where the whole thing does a 360. Be aware of this. So when you are, because you might not know straight away when someone's trying to be nice, like that might actually be really genuine. Okay. So I'm not saying that everyone who's nice to you is narcissist, but I'm just saying you gotta give this time. And if this person is like this consistently over time, then we know, okay, then this person actually means it. This is actually true. Okay, so you have to just give this time. So when someone does a 360, they start being nasty, okay, and they're being really difficult. This is when you need to start questioning, well, what is going on here? Okay, that's how you start to notice the toxic patterns early on. Okay, and when you notice this, okay, you have to start to detach emotionally from the narcissist. And this is really hard, especially when it is a family member or when it is a partner. Maybe you have children, maybe you have assets. It's going to be really difficult to try and completely go no contact or disengage with this person. Now, for those of you who are able to get rid of this person and not have this person in their lives, I would say that no contact is the only way. It's almost as though you've got to ignore them. It is the only way. Okay, because what you're going to do is try and talk sense with this person. What are you going to try and do? Have a discussion with this person? No, because they're not even going to listen. They're not going to listen to your point of view. So that isn't going to be a thing, my friends. You're not going to be able to have a discussion and be able to work this out with them. And unfortunately, do you know what? And I know that's really hard. Like, I know that that is really challenging to understand, because all you want to do is talk to this person, talk some sense. You want to, you want them to understand. But in this case, my friends, it's just wasted. It's just wasted energy. You're not going to be able to do it. They don't see things the way that you do. And I know it's really hard just to become ambivalent in this situation, but believe me, it will save you so much anguish, so much emotion. It's easier to do it that way for you. And I'm looking out for you. It's easier for you just to become ambivalent, no contact. I know it's not going to hurt less. I know it's going to hurt, but talking to them is isn't going to work. They don't see your point of view, and a lot of the time they don't listen. They have other things on their mind. They have other things that is motivating this behavior. Okay, so no contact. If those of you that cannot go contact, okay, what I would say to you is you're going to have to put boundaries in place. Boundaries meaning protection, and I'm going to talk about this later on in the live. Okay, but it is going to be about putting protection in place, because otherwise this person is never going to respect you. They're never going to value you. All right, they're never going to see it any other way but their own. So it's better. Yes, that's right, mirror, mirror. It's all about disconnection from themselves. So it's easy. So it's not easier. It's better for you to protect yourself and stick to it. You might have to put consequences in place. All right. I know this is not easy. I know this is not easy. It's hard to try and do that. You see, like even with the conditioning of behavior or the intermittent behavior, can you see for us, this is hard to do that to someone. But for a toxic person, for a narcissist, they don't have that empathy. So it's easy for them to be able to behave in this way. It's easier for them to be able to do this to you. That's the issue. Can you see, my friends? They don't care. They don't give a, and they do it. But us, it hurts us to try and change someone. And the only way that you can is, instead of trying to change someone, instead of trying to get this person to see reason, is for you to just, you have to detach. You have to see it for what it is, for who this person is. And whether that's a family member, whether that's a partner, whoever it is, you have to see it for what it is. You have to start detaching emotionally, because this person is just going to have you wrap around their little finger, and they're just going to constantly play games. And they're hurtful because you love this person, you care for this person. That's why it hurts so much. And this is about, a lot of this is about self-awareness and healing from past trauma. Okay, that's what this is. And I know, again, I know that a lot of us are at different stages of this journey. And I know that some of you have broken free from this trauma bond. And hats off to you, because it's not always easy. I do know it's not easy. And you guys have done it. I just want to like put this out there to you guys. What did you find particularly helpful? Or what have you found that has helped you to move past this trauma bond? Or perhaps to go no contact with the narcissist? Maybe those of you that have had children with the narcissist, what have you found to be particularly helpful? Because I want to know what you guys have done. I mean, it's easier me here just saying go no contact, do this, like do that. But what did you do? What is it? What was it that helped you? What how and what could you do when you were in the throes of this? Yeah, Ken says sorry. Um Yes. Oh, where is it? Where is it? I've lost it. I've lost it. There I No contact can be hard with children, Shed, but I try to keep brief in text, no phone calls ever for me. Perfect. Yes. That's it, Ken. Yes, you remove yourself emotionally. You're not going to be interacting with them. And that's the thing, like they see this as an invitation, okay, to try and hoover. Like, they might ask you how you're doing, like what's going on for you. You know what? For some of us, and this is where you have got to really know yourselves. This is where healing and doing that healing work, understanding your triggers. This is where this is really, really going to work for you. Okay. When you know what they are doing, when you're no longer seeking for the validation of another, because look, like when you haven't heard from the narcissist, they've been nasty, and all you want to do is speak to them. All you want to do is for them to go back to how they were, and that they're being, nice or kind, or just give some sort of validation. So when they ask you like, hey, how are you? When they make contact with you, for a lot of us, we might feel like, oh my God, like this feels good. Like I want to engage in this, but please don't. Please stop yourself from doing that, because it's a manipulation. It is a manipulation. So I know it's not easy, but this is good, Ken. This is really good advice. Thank you, Ken. Um, Isabel says, knowledge is power, self-respect, boundaries, these videos. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Prayer, trust in a higher power to guide me. It was all of my good, ultimately self-love learnt. Thank you, Isabel, for sharing that. Yes, this is it. This is how you're going to break free from this. You're absolutely right. Dennis says, learning about it felt empowering. And yes, do you know what, Dennis? That's true. Because when you know what a trauma bond is, or um, the recipe of it, or how it is formed, what's going to happen, how what it is about. This all like this really does help. And you will, and Isabel also said knowledge is power. When you know, when you can put a label to that experience, that also helps. And also you don't actually feel alone, like you are the only one that is going through this, or you're suffering from this. Like it's not just you on your own. When you have a label to, and you are able to kind of see it for what it is, this always helps. This always helps. And it's always better, because then you just feel like, yeah, like I feel like I can describe my situation. I'm not the only one. I'm not going crazy. Steven says, I went no contact. I blocked. They still keep finding their bloody way back. I'm just continuing to ignore. Stephen, yes, they do find their way back. They do. Ultimately, that's what it is. They're trying to still get a reaction out of, be aware of what's going on. Contact your grey rocking. That is what's in here. They do come back, my friends. They do come back. Um, Finding Dory says grey rock, then no contact. You are right. You are absolutely right. Um, Sleepy says, as far as kids go, the best thing I did is take the incoming aging at me. I never allowed her to act out in front of the kids. Yes. Yes. Oh, arguing, the incoming arguing. I think that's what you meant, Sleepy. Yes. Never to do it in front of the children. Absolutely. Because children do absorb it. They absorb the energy, even though they might not be able to explain it or express it in that way, but they do feel that energy. So it is always something that is harbored and kept deep within them. So, yes, you've done the right thing, Sleepy, for sure. Oh dear, is my streaming not going good? I'm really sorry about it's being buffering and it's breaking up. I really apologize. I don't know what is happening. Technology today, this live stream is not working. So I really do apologize. I'm so sorry. Please do refresh. Yang's not here to help out either. So I'm so sorry about this. So DJ Marcus, hello, my friend. Blocked the day from day dot. Still see her sometimes in the gym. Give no attention. Shows zero emotion and gave no reaction to her mind games. I love this. This is exactly it. This is exactly what is really important. This is you just have to go no contact. And I know it's really hard, but this is a this is important. This is something that is strength, it's resilience ultimately. Okay. This is resilience and this is strength that will help you to get past this, because it's not easy. And this is how you break that trauma bond. Literally nothing. Curtis says, I blocked his number and WhatsApp and email, and then he registered a new email. See, this is what I mean. They do come back. They do this. They so do this. Oh, good. I'm glad. Is it okay? Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?